Hello, everyone. Welcome. Um, we're excited to see you today, and we will be beginning the nest building and storytelling as resilience in just a few moments. And before we do that, I'd like to say I'm Jackie Nelson, one of the staff people working on California Wildlife Day, and I'm with the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District. We hope you've been enjoying the programs. This is our first virtual event, and it's been a pleasure to see all the different people joining us. And this event is allowing us to reach a broader audience. So thank you for participating today. We are recording this event, so if you would like not to be recorded, please click on your camera on the bottom right, left-hand screen on your Zoom screen. It says stop video. You could just click that and there will be an exit it, and that'll stop your video. And also, we ask everyone to mute themselves during this program. If you have questions, you could put them in the chat box, and I will be monitoring the questions and working with Jayson and his assistant to make sure that that your questions are answered. And I'm very excited to be introducing Jayson Fann. He is an amazing and talented artist, musician, educator, and producer. His work is renowned worldwide. He centers his work on the creation of interactive arts and cultural collaborations that foster connections with nature, intercultural literacy, dialogue, and awareness, which is perfect with this theme of resilience and cultivating resilience in this changing climate. And so we're pleased that he's here. His productions work with artists, organizations, and communities to advance and achieve universal appreciation and support of the world's diverse cultural and arts and communities. He celebrates his work through the diversity of found in nature, communities, and individual perspectives while exploring ideas around identity, perceptions, listening, and advocacy. Jayson is very well known for his architectural sculptures called spirit nests, which we hope someday to be able to put one into the park here at Palo Corona Regional Park. The large-scale installations serve as set designs for his musical and storytelling productions that honor and explore our collective past and present and future. The spirit nests evoke emotion and feeling and a connection to nature. They're a portal into rhythms and vocabulary of nature, and they're woven spaces that communicate in balance and harmony with the spirits of the land while providing a sanctuary for healing and reflection. For the last 10 years, Jayson has been working throughout 50 countries around the world, and Monterey is fortunate to have Jayson Fann as a local artist. And he is coming to you today live from his dance and music studio in Monterey. So without further ado, please allow me to introduce Jayson Fann. Thank you, Jayson.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. And thank you, Marie, for inviting us. Woot, woot. I've got to see a little bit of Melinda's wonderful workshop that she led earlier. Hi, Melinda. And everybody else there, Ella. I see other people kind of popping in and out. I wanted to, first of all, I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And we're this year embarking on a really big journey of traveling across the country with our mobile studio, building nests. We have 15 different nests that we're going to be building across the country. And can you guys hear me? We're good? Okay. Oh, by the way, this guy over here is Anthony. He's my right-hand man, and we build the nests together.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, yay.
We can hear you, Anthony. We love you too.
Good to see you and be seen.
So I'm going to share a few things with you. First of all, give you a little update about what we're up to. I am going to open, let's see if it downloaded here. I'll have a look at my downloads to see if it's there. So I'm going to be hitting the share screen function here. And that way I'm going to show you a few links, and we're going to take you on a little journey of what we're up to. We're going to start off with The Great Big Story, which was a little documentary piece that we did. And without further ado, I'm going to hit share screen, and we're going to go to here. We're going to share this. We're going to go all the way.
All the way.
Can you see me?
Perfect.
I think you did.
Okay, and I'm going to hit play. Is everybody there? Are we thumbs up? I can't see you, but
Yes.
I have faith. I have faith. Here we go. Ready, set, play.
A nest is a place where you have a sense of protection and strength. It's like an earth temple or a nature temple. The wood is following a pattern, but not one branch is the same. As a nest builder, I'm following those patterns. Most of the work is trying to bring out the best of those shapes with each other. I'm Jayson Fann, and I'm a nest builder. I started building nests as a child. The nest building was really an intuitive process of just gathering branches and building forts originally, and the nest grew and got bigger and more elaborate. Now some of the nests are as big as 100,000 pounds of wood. The hardest part of building the nest is really gathering all of the wood. I use a chainsaw to cut wood. I use a machete to cut off all the excess leaves. And from there, I really assess, what kind of shapes I have, what kind of material I have to work with. The construction process of the nest first is creating the foundation and the infrastructure. And then I follow those larger sculptural shapes that I bolt together with smaller material that I can weave in and around. I use every part of the tree, the trunk of the tree, all the way down to the very smallest twig and branch of the tree. I've gotten to where I'm used to building them on flatbed trailers and moving them around, and in many cases, I'm transporting them across the country. Because the nests are quite heavy, I use cranes and forklifts and different kinds of equipment. This is all eucalyptus. There's over 75 different species of eucalyptus on this property. I've built around 50 nests all over the country, and now primarily I build the nests with kids within an educational setting. As an educator, it's really important to work with kids and help them realize that they have the ability to shape and create an environment. I'm going to show you how we can integrate those branches into the spiral. I love getting kids out into nature, interacting with nature, and the nest is actually very much a collaboration with nature. I know I've done a good job when it looks like the nest is something that could almost have grown out of the ground.
Great. Okay, so well, I wanted to open it up. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of us here. Oh, is Kate there?
I'm here. We're so happy to be here.
Is that Kate Daniels?
That is with Daniel and Nicholas.
Hi.
And you're remarkable and tremendous.
Oh, good to see you here. I don't see you, but I wish I could see you, but what's your name?
That was our video guy and his son.
Okay.
We've got 20 people on the call right now.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Well, just to give you a little bit of context about this piece, a lot of people say, well, how are you learning about connecting with nature if you're cutting down trees to make nests? And that's a very good point. And what I want to say about that is all of our wood comes from native habitat restoration projects. So currently we're working with Elkhorn Slough. There's a big removal of eucalyptus from those groves there. and other locations where people are doing fire fuel reduction.
Yeah.
So these massive eucalyptus groves, as many of you know, eucalyptus loves water, and it just sucks all the water up out of the ground. And we have a dear friend from Kenya that's part of our crew, and she told us a story about how eucalyptus was planted in her village all along the river. And after about 10 years, the river just kept sinking until it just disappeared because all of those eucalyptus trees just sucked up all the water. So a lot of people are learning about how to work with eucalyptus. It's an incredibly strong wood. It's a beautiful wood. It's a beautiful tree. And in many cases, it does provide certain kinds of habitat, particularly the monarch butterflies love, the eucalyptus leaf because they can grab onto it. But now people are looking at ways to manage their eucalyptus groves and to deal with the hundreds of thousands of pounds of eucalyptus wood. And when I say hundreds of thousands of pounds, it's literally, I think this year it's well over 1 million pounds of eucalyptus. Well over 1 million pounds are being removed from the Bay Area all the way down the coast. And so this is an incredible resource for us to utilize that wood and to educate people about, one, fire fuel reduction and how to have a relationship with these forests in ways to where we can start cleaning those areas and cutting back the eucalyptus and then replanting certain native vegetation in those nature corridors and those ecosystems. So it's really an important thing that's being done. On the other hand, a lot of people ecologists have developed a little bit of a prejudice against eucalyptus. We personally love the wood. It's a beautiful wood, and so many people are going to Home Depot and buying loads and loads of wood, and there's a lot of deforestation of wood where we could be utilizing this natural resource and doing building the outdoor classrooms, creating these community spaces with the nests, and utilizing it instead of filling the landfills full of it. So we're proud to be part of a solution. Hi there.
Okay.
I like that cat. Oh, Marie.
So Jayson, would you like people to be able to unmute themselves and ask questions and
Yes.
would you want to have a Q&A all throughout, because we did receive one question, and I don't know if it might be nice if you just let us know how you would like us to interact with you.
Let's have a moment for a question. If anybody has a question, I would be happy to answer that at this moment.
Melinda?
Hold on, I just wanted Jayson to give him a chance to do the presentation. But if you want to take a question, it was about the wood. It's awesome that you're using the restoration eucalyptus. I'm just curious, do you need to cure the wood before you use it? I just know that in the storms around here that, like, if you didn't cut your eucalyptus after the tree fell, that it was going to be impossible to cut because it gets hard. And so that I just wondered, like, for safety, like, do you want it to be hard or do you want it to be flexible so you can curve it? And it's just, a question on, like, process of how you use the wood.
That's a great question, Melinda. So the wood does dry and become incredibly hard. But we work with the wood in all of its different stages. Yeah. We just used, when a piece of wood is too hard to drill through or to work with, we'll use it in its natural form. But certain woods, when they get dried, I'm gonna show you an example behind me. So here's an example of eucalyptus branch here. This does not have the bark on it, and it's incredibly smooth. And so in this phase, I really wouldn't try to bend it too much because it might snap. But when this is freshly cut, I can bend it and create a big arc with it, you know, so it's very flexible. So when it's like this, a lot of people ask, how did you bend all of that wood? Especially in the big nests, you'll see that some of it is like this diameter.
Yeah.
And so we don't bend it when it's like that. We just work with its natural shape and incrementally place it so that we can accomplish any direction, any shape with that more, you know, that thicker wood. And you can see that, you know, usually when you see eucalyptus, you're seeing the bark. This is a piece that's been debarked. So underneath is this beautiful, clear color. So right now we're getting ready to do a piece that we built last year. It's 20 feet tall, and there's about over 1,000 of these sticks in it, maybe more. We're going to be taking it to Salinas and having it sandblasted, the whole thing. So we'll get the entire nest down to the raw wood, and it will be actually the first time that we've done it.
And those were actually fresh branches when we first put it together. So again, a lot of the times we're using what we have. It's kind of, we can't just choose whatever or go pick it up at the store, but those were fresh when we assembled it. And now it's going to kind of take on new life as it's hardened, and then to be able to grind it all off and sand it down like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a world of a difference though between when it's dry and it's wet, but it's almost always heavy and beautiful. So that's
yeah. And the wood is very heavy.
very heavy.
It's a very heavy wood.
So heavy.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions?
Margot had a question. She has her thumbs up right now, and I think she's getting ready to eat a banana. Margot, do you know how to unmute yourself so you could ask your question?
After the
I don't know if she knows how to. She said, how do you make a big nest?
Well, to give you a little bit of size, a scale, I think about 30 feet tall right now by 100. One of our nests is 150 feet in length by 30 feet tall. That's our largest nest that we've built. And you make a very big nest, one branch at a time.
big branches though. Big branches like.
So when we do that, we're working with forklifts, because the wood is quite heavy. One piece of wood may weigh, in some cases, up to 2,000 pounds per piece of wood that we work with. So we will wrap around strapping and chains and lift these pieces of wood up into position with forklifts, and then pre-drill them and bolt them together. Because many of our pieces are in public art spaces, they need to be engineered so that they are safe and that our insurance company won't drop us.
That's a good answer. A big nest starts with the big base. No matter how small the pieces that we weave in at the end, the bigger it is, the bigger the pieces to hold it, so it's stronger, so it can hold it together, which is the same as how birds do it too. So they start with the bigger pieces and work their way down.
Yeah. And we do use large bolts, like in some cases, 12 inches, 14 inches, even 16 inches in length to bolt those big pieces together. Yeah.
So Jayson, when you say it's 150 feet by 30 feet, is that like a football field?
A football field is like 300 feet, isn't it? Yeah, like a half of a football field.
And then it's as tall as like a big, like maybe Embassy Suites or something like that.
Embassy Suites, I would say, is probably about 200.
Okay.
200 feet, so 30 feet, like we're talking 3 stories.
Like
Three stories, yes, thank you.
Yeah, 3 stories.
Yeah, because that would have 3 floors.
Yeah.
So it's like a house.
So we're gonna have time for more questions, but I want to continue to move along. I really wanted to share something with you, but I'm not sure if it actually downloaded here. Let's see. Nope, it's not there. But perhaps I can share it with you directly in the program.
Screen.
Okay, so I'm going to open up. I'm going to hit the share screen. Okay, and we're going to be going to a Canva document.
Optimize.
Am I optimizing or are you optimizing?
You share screen and optimize your video and sound.
Okay, so where is that? Share
At the bottom.
screen. I'm sorry, what?
Down at the bottom, when you hit share screen, there's a white bar. It should be if you want to share sound.
Okay, yeah, optimize video clip. Okay, sound. The optimized video won't allow me yet. I think I have to actually grab something. Well, let's start off with this piece in the meanwhile, and we'll kind of we'll get there. Okay. Okay. So can you guys see this right here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to enlarge it. Can you see that?
Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about what you're seeing here. This bamboo nest on the top right corner is a variety of bamboo called yellow vivax. It's a great bamboo for this particular ecosystem. It grows really well here. This bamboo is from the University of California, Santa Cruz Arboretum. And we did a 2-year project with the Arboretum doing outdoor educational programs using materials from the botanical gardens to create community art experiences and education programs. So this piece in the far right corner that's actually a First Night Monterey. And right next to it is at Bayview Academy, which is right here in Monterey and also kind of near Home Depot and on Spaghetti Hill for you locals. And this is an example of some of the community work that we're doing with the nest, where we're bringing together children and cultural groups and schools. And this nest traveled from school to school, producing a cultural series. And a lot of what's behind the messaging of the nest is, and when I talk about in my biography about intercultural literacy and awareness, it's about creating stages and spaces for diverse communities to come together, to share their culture, to share their art, their storytelling. And working with children is of great importance to me. I feel like it's with all of the different challenges we've been having in our country, with racism and with a lot of different kinds of discrimination. It's my philosophy that allowing access for different people to share their voice and their culture, especially with young people, is extremely important. And so we find ways to do that through the nest. And the nest is, in a sense, a metaphor of each of us as these diverse communities, weaving our stories together to explore our past together, our present, and also where we're envisioning our future. And so the nest becomes a teaching pedagogy of exploration around what our values are, what our visions are for the future, and also some of the storytelling of the past. So there's a dimension of reconciliation, restorative justice work through the storytelling and through the creativity and the collaboration. So in the left-hand corner here, I'm gonna actually hit play so you can hear. These are my students from Bayview Academy, and we did a 2-year project of learning all of the rhythms from nature and all the patterns in nature. So we might go out into the garden and find a flower and then bring that into the classroom and project it onto our flat screen and find the geometry of that natural form, and then look at how that's related to music and how that's related to rhythm. So here you are, there's a little recital performance that we're doing with Yaucoatli Aztec Dance Company in Salinas. And I'm gonna hit play so you can hear this. Hopefully it's not too loud. Here we go. You ready? I don't know if I can do full screen, but here we go.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Wow, that's really fast.
Yes. Now, I'm going to stop sharing for a second so I can see you. Okay. Okay, is everybody there?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of parents came to our recital at Bayview Academy, and they really had no idea what to expect, but they'd never seen anything like this before in their school. And they certainly didn't expect that the kids had memorized anything like that, because from prior recitals, you'd have 30 kids come up at a time and play the recorders very out of tune. And, you know, it's believe me, being a music teacher is not an easy feat by any means. And when the principal said, well, so, you know, how many, you're going to do one class at a time and we're going to do it like this. I said, no, I just want all the kids all at once. And she said, oh, absolutely not. That will not work. It will be total chaos. There's no way. And we said, yeah, we can do it. We'll just do it in the parking lot. So this was the first time that they had ever done anything like this. And they were really pretty blown away. And actually, so were we. Does anybody want to ask any questions about this process that you're seeing?
So Jayson, I just had a comment because I think that is part of the magic of what you bring, is being able to bring that huge group of people and then have everybody kind of focus and really on the same beat. And so I was wondering if you could describe a little bit for the audience, kind of like how you bring, I know it's kind of more intuitive and you know, just a practice, but how do you bring that kind of centering energy? And could you like model some of the things that you do to kind of like make it a safe space for people to do their storytelling? So like people are showing up both for music and expression, and then they're showing up to be vulnerable and do their short storytelling. So how do you kind of create that space for us?
Yes. Well, there's a couple things there. One is that if I'm teaching kindergartners or first graders or second graders, I use almost the same approach as if I'm teaching college level or high school. And what I've discovered is that it's a matter of having this absolute and total faith that what's being shared can be received. And so I believe that's a really important part of the process, is just Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do it right now, and you're going to get it. And don't worry, just, feel it. And so with music, that's really important. And rhythm is such a powerful tool for that. This room that we're in right now, you can't see, but it is just full of drums. Everywhere you look, there are drums in here, in every direction. And we make a lot of the drums also for our workshops.
What's the chance we'd be able to hear some of those drums?
We will do that. We will definitely do that in this session. Absolutely. There was another question that you had. There was like 4 questions in one question. And do you remember the last thing that you asked about?
Oh, I asked you about when you do the storytelling and making it a safe space for people to share, which is pretty much the same thing. Like,
absolutely. So when I was a child, my sisters were both in the Nutcracker, in the ballet. And they actually coerced me into joining the ballet. I was a break dancer, so I was like, what is this ballet business? But when I got into it and I was able to be part of the production, suddenly we were in this big stage with the orchestra pit and the backdrops and the stages and I remember being on that stage and I just looked around and I thought, wow, they've created a whole dream inside of here, almost like Midsummer's Night's Dream or something. It's like this very living, dimensional space of sounds and colors and movement. So a lot of my early memories as a child, and I think what I gleaned from that was the production aspect of creating a space for storytelling. And the journey that we're taking this year is really focused on that storytelling. We're partnering with Pioneers Conference, and there's 500 youth in this one project across the country: San Francisco, Navajo Reservation, Denver, Colorado, and Kentucky. So our mobile studio will be moving to each of these spaces, building these nests with these communities, and exploring ideas of finding your authentic voice and finding your, and a lot of that has to do with some of the work that, for example, Marie does in nature, of getting people out into nature, writing poetry, doing some of the mindfulness meditation practices to get in touch with that interconnection, and then weaving it together into something that can be shared. So the Aztec community does that in such a beautiful way. And part of what they might be sharing is the Aztec cosmology and the history of indigenous peoples in this country. A lot of people don't know that the Aztec were migrating all the way up into the central, plains of the United States. The Four Corners of the United States is a Aztec archaeological site. So there's a natural history dimension of that. There's the curandera approach to healing, of working with herbs and teas and traditional healing and midwifery. So there's an aspect of that comes through their particular cultural storytelling. So those are some examples of how we learn from each other, and we build that connection and respect and understanding for different cultures through learning and through exposure. And so those are how we integrate the nest into it. It's a production that's building and storytelling and learning and connecting. All of that's a very vital aspect of it. And that being said, I'm going to share something with you guys, another video. And this is of one of our storytellers. His name is Per Se Bryant. Okay, are you with me?
Yep.
Is this fun?
This is great.
Are you guys enjoying yourself?
Yes.
All right.
It is wonderful.
Are you having, okay, good. We're glad.
Can't wait for it to see you live.
Kate, are you in there? The Daniels?
I'm here.
We
This is
love you, Kate.
wonderful.
Oh, good. We miss you, Kate.
I miss you.
Okay. So a little story here. You're going to see a clip of a nest that we just built. Somebody's drawing pictures on our page. I don't, Daphne. What are all those little blue marks you're doing, Daphne? This is a nest that we just drove to Carbondale, Colorado, and we have 12 nests that are going to be in Colorado. Anthony doesn't know that. He only knows about 6 of them, but there's 12 nests that are going to Colorado over the next year. Colorado really loves us. And Per se Bryant is featured in this piece. Per se was instrumental in the building of the Big Sur Spirit Garden. He is my partner in creativity, and he's also my godfather and dear friend. And I wanted to say a little bit about this. The piece of wood that you see on the left is a piece of redwood, and that piece of wood was completely a piece of charcoal. And so with all the fires, wood is rolling down the canyons of these watersheds in Big Sur, and then they get swept down through the rivers into the ocean, and then they tumble up on the beaches. And in Santa Cruz, there's over 100,000 pounds of driftwood a year that are gathered off the beach and put into the landfill. And a lot of that wood is the most exquisite old growth wood. And if you were to stumble on it on the beach, you'd think it's just a burnt piece of charcoal. But when you grind off the charcoal, what you discover is this gorgeous red wood. And some of that is 1,000 to 2,000 years old pieces of roots. And we spent a lot of time in these little gullies and riverbeds, and we have discovered roots that are as big as a truck. And they're of ancient redwood trees that no longer exist, but the root structures are still there. And so they're like these enormous artifacts of history and storytelling. So we gather those pieces and use them. At Carmel River School this year, we built a piece. Hopefully I can show you a picture with about maybe 600 or something, or 500 pieces. And each of the kids got to take a piece of wood home. Home Depot gave us a great deal on all the palm sanders, and all the kids got to sand the pieces of wood down, and they all got collected together and put into one piece. That's beautiful, right on the soccer field at Carmel River School. If you have a chance to peek over there, see it. So Per se here is going to be doing a little thing, and this is part of our storytelling that we're working. So as we're traveling this year, we're going to be having artists travel with us and presenting workshops, doing poetry readings, doing storytelling workshops, doing writing workshops, nest building workshops, and we have a good like 2 years worth of work scheduled at this moment. I'm going to hit play. A fun fact, Tina Turner was the babysitter for Per se's children in St. Louis, Missouri.
So there you go.
So there you go.
Didn't know that.
Here you go.
But after a while, I think of all my dear friends. All their troubles are gone, and all what sorrows they have end. Into this session of sweet silence thoughts.
Okay, I know that was short, but part of what we're doing is exploring ways of creating 60 seconds or 30 seconds or 2 minutes or 5 minutes of media of our journey, and to be able to share that with people along the way, and through social media, through YouTube, and all of our partner organizations. I'm going to open up for any questions as I start to prepare the next thing that we're going to share with you. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, it looks like there's a question from Margot. Do you want to unmute yourself, Margot, or we can ask your question?
Margot's left the meeting.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It said, where's the best place, I guess it was best place to place a nest. And then there was a prior question about your favorite nest or most dear nest to you. I don't know if that question got answered.
Oh, that's a tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we necessarily have a favorite nest.
Well, whichever nest we're with at that time, we get really attached to, and they kind of become that they're just not like pets, but they're very living. And when you're with them, working on them every single day, and then at the end of the day, you're hanging out, talking in them, or you have starting your morning with tea or coffee inside of them, or you're lighting candles at night and reading or writing in them. You get very attached, and then they go off and they live their own life with other people who hopefully enjoy them as much. But as far as a most favorite, I can't think of just one that I'm like, oh, that's my most favorite. It's whatever we're closest with.
Yeah. And I would say that there's the beauty of the nest, and then there's the beauty of the moments that are facilitated through the creation of the nest. And we built a nest at the zoo in Kansas, and we had a young boy. On Earth Day we did it, and so we had about 2,000 kids coming on that day. Each class had a different color shirt so that the teachers could keep track of their kids. And suddenly we had one kid in the nest who didn't have an identification of which class he was with, and all the kids wanted in, but I had to say, no, wait. And this young boy actually was not able to be in a classroom because he had severe PTSD from some traumatic incidents in his life. And he went missing, and the grandparents are looking for him everywhere, and they couldn't find him. They never thought he would be in the nest because he was of his PTSD, he couldn't be in any closed small spaces. He wouldn't even be in a classroom. So they're looking everywhere for him, in the forest and the bushes everywhere. And finally they discovered him in the nest, and they just couldn't believe that he was there. And so there's these kind of healing moments and stories that take place. That one's kind of a longer story, and so I won't get into all the details of it, but it's those moments, I would say, that make the work really meaningful for us. Yeah. I want to share a screen with you, and I want to see if I'm going to open this to full screen.
Excellent.
Is that even? Oh, great.
That's beautiful.
We might even be optimized.
Wow. Okay. So this is our current project. It's called a nest building and storytelling journey. You guys like the little graphic here?
It's really nice.
Anthony loves it.
I do love it. I think it's quite charming.
This is this yada, yada, yada,
Speaking of charming, look at that guy.
So this was what was read in the beginning. It just talks about my work. It's the process of really trying to refine our narrative is really important right now, where we spend a lot of time thinking about what's important to us, how we're going to be taking this nest work out into the world and having the biggest impact that we can have, the most meaningful impact that we can have through our art creation process, is really, really at the forefront of what we're thinking about. So this is actually a document that's being edited, and we're kind of looking at it right now every day and trying to figure out the details of how to get to the essence of where we're going. We are currently building a mobile studio. It's going to look something like this, which will be a bus for our interactive musical equipment and traveling living quarters. The nest component is going to actually be blacksmithed, And so we are going to be going into production with that here in Monterey, building the framework. And then we'll be working with a master blacksmith in Santa Fe, New Mexico, this spring, and two master capoeira teachers who are also folklorists and blacksmiths, and a wonderful friend of ours who's on our advisory board, who is Robert Wisdom. He was in the Ray Charles film, and also The Wire, if you've seen the HBO series. And so this mobile studio will be equipped to do the storytelling, to do whatever kind of production work, presentations we're going to be doing across the country, including taking time to just park next to the Grand Canyon or next to a river and have tea with interesting people that we meet. So it's kind of a traveling tea house, studio, production studio, and we'll be doing our podcasts and videography work of the journey. And that started today, actually. I was just waiting for Anthony to get here.
Yeah, we have tea and we're started now.
Yeah, we're started. So today we're over here at 600 Franklin Street in downtown Monterey, at the Arthur Murray School of Dance. We have our studio out here in the parking lot. And so, if you want to visit us and get involved in the project, we also are going to need to raise quite a large sum of money. And we're doing a video project for a crowd sourcing and funding for our mobile studio. Moving forward, our NEST program is been integrated into several science and art curriculums across the country and the world. So we've been popping up in these curriculums all across the country: Hoopla Education, Scholastic Magazine, a center in Italy and also Brazil, and several other countries have incorporated our work into their class online forums. So you can follow the journey in a variety of ways. You can follow our social media aspect, our partner organizations that you're about to see. All of our media will be up on each of their sites, and that will include the Smithsonian Museum of African American History, Botanical Garden, the Bernheim Forestry Research Center in Kentucky, the public libraries of Colorado, Natural History Museum in Arizona, and there's about 12 partners right now in this bigger journey that we're doing. And so we're always needing volunteers if any of you want to get involved. An important aspect of our work is land acknowledgement. And here's Canyon Sarah Roots. She's from the Mutsunaloni tribe, which is just north of us here. And I've been working with her family for many, many years. A lot of my early influences of the nest building are from my experiences on Pine Ridge Reservation as a kid, which I spent quite a bit of time. And I think it's really important, and part of what we're seeing is that a lot of communities are starting to identify and to do the restorative justice and healing work, which is so overdue. But now is a good time for it, and we're excited to participate in that process. Canyon is one of our consultants, and also Matika Wilbur from Project 562. You'll learn a little bit more about them. So in each city that we're building, we reach out to the local tribe and we invite them to come and be part of the storytelling and the curating project. And it's also a way for us to help organizations find a way to create that initiative. A lot of times they want to do something, but they're not quite sure how. And so our nest building becomes a way to start creating these storytelling spaces where we can invite all different people from different parts of the community and have their voices be heard, and let those folks, bring that awareness of where we are and in each location. So this is at the Pajaro Library in Salinas. And this is a picture from about 8 years ago. Community project with the public schools, Los Padres, Sherwood Elementary School in the Pajaro School. And we brought together all different representatives from the community, created the nest with the kids at the library. And it was a wonderful experience. And so this represents the kind of collaborations that we're doing across the country. Currently, we're working on a curriculum for our education programs and Life Lab, which is the department of the University of California, Santa Cruz Farm and Garden Project. We're working with them to develop a curriculum around the nest building, and we just completed one piece for them. And we're getting ready to build another piece at the Blooming Classroom, which is in Watsonville. They're doing amazing work. They have 300 school gardens across the country, and it's a STEM-based education model so that they can work with any public school and provide that gardening curriculum, science curriculum, and outdoor education. So we're bringing the nests into these gardens, education gardens, and then they become an outdoor classroom and a place for the community to, curate different, whether it's the land acknowledgement or other storytellers or herbalists or different aspects of science, and then looking at the patterns of nature, how it pertains to architecture. And so we're really excited about that partnership. And I would have to say that the impact, a lot of what people are discussing is like measurable impact and how many communities or children that we're impacting. And I would say that we really have so far impacted thousands of children. And in each one of these events that we do, we will have as many as 1,000 children per creation process, but then that nest becomes an ongoing space for years and years to come. So different school districts can schedule visitations to these nests at the public libraries. This one you're seeing right here is at the Basalt Public Library, just outside of Aspen, Colorado. And in this one day, I think we had at least 600 kids.
Oh yeah, and they went nuts about
Yep.
it. Loved it.
Yeah, and they loved Anthony.
Who doesn't?
This is a picture from from Earth Day in Kansas, in Western Kansas. And aren't those faces so beautiful?
Yeah, very true.
This nest, when you get out to these rural communities in Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, what you see is that there is, I would say, in those farm working communities, probably about a 90% Spanish speaking immigrant families from Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, just from all different areas from South and Central America. And one of the things that in just reflecting about that, and with the issues around these hard borders between Mexico and the United States, is that these people have been traveling and migrating back and forth across these borders for thousands of years. And their cultural identities and different tribes that are moving back and forth. And that's so important for people to kind of understand and get familiar with the fact that the migration patterns of all creatures, including human beings, have been going on forever. And we're just it's always a pleasure to work with these different communities and also to explore things that a lot of times the parents will come who grew up in villages where they were building with natural materials, but the kids are being born here or raised here and they don't know, they haven't gone back to Mexico. And so they're when the parents come, they're like, oh yeah, we've been building with these sticks forever, like this is what we do. in different techniques. And so we're always learning new things and connecting about those things. And that's the exciting part about what we do, is we just get to interact with so many interesting people and communities. Here's more about the production work. And so in each nest location, now we are providing international multicultural education programs. So from doing this production work over the last 30 years, we have an incredible base of artists, musicians, dancers, cultural pioneers, tradition bearers. And so we can help organizations bring that programming into their community. And that's a very important aspect. Before, we were doing the production work over here and we were doing the nests over here. And now we're completely merging these two together so that it's one complete experience that's much more dimensional. This stuff will be available to you guys soon, to where you can click on links. We're going to be putting all this on our website. This is the project we did with the state parks around fire fuel reduction, and working with different fire ecologists, some members of the Miwok tribe, and state parks and volunteers. We created this piece in Marin at Novato, the state park in Novato. And so if you want to learn more about these projects, please contact us. We can share these links with you. This will be up on our website soon.
Jayson, you have some amazing work, and I wish we had time to see it all. We only have a few minutes before that we begin the closing ceremony, so I want to give you an opportunity to wrap up and maybe play some music or answer questions or show some more slides, but you have about 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm just going to click through these real quick so you can see them, and then we're going to, for any last closing comments, because there's about 30 pages in here. And I just want you to get a little snapshot of all of this. These are all of our partners.
That's so beautiful.
That's a very nice looking nose.
Wow, such beautiful colors. They're all blended together.
That was the Carmel River School one, where we sourced all that old growth redwood and pulled out those colors. But it did not look like that when we found the wood.
We have now about 15 advisory council and community members that have joined our project this year that are going to be traveling with us and helping us in different production dimensions, a lot of articles to go from. So I'm going to exit out of here and we're going to stop the share. Okay. So, hi, David. So I want to open the floor for any sort of questions, comments. We probably have about 30 seconds left. Are you still there, Kate?
Oh my God,
Yes.
you are amazing. I just love your work, and I didn't realize who the artist was. I visit your piece at the UC Arboretum in Santa Cruz all the time.
Oh,
My favorite place to take my family to. Like, we park and I'm like, okay, let me go show you. And that's the first place that I take them. And I got to photograph my grandmother, who's almost 100 now. And she just loved it. And so we took so many pictures of her in there. Now I'm so happy to see, match the face, the people. Hi, Anthony. I match you guys to the piece and love it even more. Thank you so much for such a beautiful part of my life, because it is a part of my life and I love it. And hopefully we get to interview you or something for the Arboretum. I'm on the board for the Friends of the Arboretum. So hopefully we get to interview you as part of our new series so we can get more people to love that nest. That sculpture is so meaningful too. So
yeah, we visited up there and we want to come and give it some love and help fix it up some more too. So
oh, please do. Please do. Oh, qué belleza. Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
Muchas
I know
gracias.
you guys. Yay.
Also, if you have a chance, since you're up there at the Arboretum, visit our other nest, which is at Life Lab. Just on the other side of your fence, the Life Lab Education Garden.
Okay.
We have another bigger nest there that we just.
I'm missing out. Nice to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Wow. Qué placer. I'm so happy. Oh.
What a treat to spend this hour with you and get to hear about this important work. You both are phenomenal human beings, and this was such a treat. So thank you to the organizers and Marie for thinking and making this connection, because it was a beautiful hour. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Kate. It's good to see you. You have to come visit me. You know where I am now. I'm at the dance studio.
Now I know. Yes.
A lot of dancing. A lot of dancing.
And we will be here producing four pieces in the next 2 months in the parking lot. So come see us. Bring us a burrito.
Jayson, thank you. The work you're doing is amazing and fantastic. I put a link in the chat section session for the closing ceremonies. I was wondering if you and Anthony can end your program with a little bit of music.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And so I will leave this open for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
We'll play a little bit. Anthony, grab something.
I'll grab something.
Yeah.
Nice bit of play out there.
Good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.